Let me, by way of close, say just a couple of things with respect to this question of public opinion. It would be a mistake to look at the decisions that the President made with respect to whether or not we were going to pursue this course of action, setting the objective, ultimately going to war, as being driven by public opinion. It's just wrong. It doesn't work that way. It didn't work that way in this case. It wasn't a matter of holding focus groups or taking polls trying to find out whether or not we ought to go to war. But at the same time, you're very sensitive to the question of public opinion. You need to be. It's a democracy. You're governed by consent. And you obviously are going to be much more successful if you take that into account in your planning, and if you do what you can do to try to build public support for your policy and to bring people along. So the President was always very much aware of the need to try to build public support for our position. But I would put forth the proposition that I believe, without doubt, that we would have gone forward with a military operation to liberate Kuwait if all we had was the request of the government of Kuwait for assistance and the approval of the Saudis to operate from bases in Saudi Arabia. The coalition was great. It was tremendous having them on board, but we could have gone forward from a military standpoint if we'd had to on our own. I think also I'd put forward the proposition that if the Congress had not approved the use of force, that the President might well, probably would have, I would have argued, and I'm sure he would have too, would have used force anyway. And that we wanted the Congress on board if we could get them on board, but that the principles that were involved here, the question of responding to naked aggression and of restoring the rightful government of Kuwait, were sufficiently great that the President would have risked all, including his standing with the American people and with the Congress, and gone forward, even if Congress had not granted its approval with respect to the vote in the Congress. It's not a matter of polling to see if the public will support your policy under this situation. It's a matter of leadership. It's a matter of doing what's right, convincing the American people you know what's right, telling them why you're doing what you're doing. And frankly, as was true in this case, I think if you exert that kind of leadership, as I think President Bush did, the American people will follow. And of course, in the end, all of those critics who went to Capitol Hill and testified in opposition to what we were doing, and all of the talking heads on television who gave us all that great advice that turned out to be wrong. In the final analysis, when the troops came home from what was one of the most successful military operations in history, everybody was on board. It's hard today to find anybody who in fact disagreed with that basic policy, or who, having disagreed with it, is willing to admit it. Thank you very much.